that human is a dead human. He's finally back to kick some tail.
I really like Skull Island, and I think the Vietnam metaphor stuff was actually pretty cool. But what's weird about the film is how into Hollow Earth stuff it gets. Hollow Earth conspiracy theories only become a bigger and bigger part of the series as we get into the Godzilla vs. Kong sequels. And a few years ago, when I covered this film for an old podcast, we spoke to Jake Rockatansky from the QAA podcast.
Telling Luke earlier that I believe the first time I watched Skull Island, I was on an airplane. You know, when you're on a plane, you're a lot more forgiving because you're just so happy to be entertained by anything, you know, that to take your mind off of, you know, your current flight pattern or whatever. And I started watching Skull Island and I was like, oh, this is like totally up my alley, because I was like, there's multiple creatures. I was like, you got Samuel L. Jackson, you have John Goodman. I was like, oh man, because
so obviously one of the reasons I invited you on is just because I know you're a lover of like big time action films.
Mm-hmm.
But also you're a guy who does a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yes.
And this film is all about the Hollow Earth.
Right, exactly. I mean, this goes back to, you know, we've done episodes actually on the guy who really started this shit, Admiral Byrd, who was super pilled and basically claimed that he had flown into a cave like on the North Pole, basically, and landed his plane and was sort of embraced by a whole community of people who've been living inside the Earth, which has, you know, of course, spawned, you know, millions and billions of conspiracy theories since then. But yeah, I love that aspect of this.
Because that's the kind of conspiracy theory that I used to love as a kid. There's secret aliens and underground civilizations and Atlantis, Mayan stuff. But if I feel like these days, anytime I try and get into one of these conspiracy theories that's just fun and sci-fi and weird, I get like 2 pages into Google and suddenly it gets racist and anti-Semitic.
Yes, it
so like,
really.
Where does that turn happen with Hollow Earth?
Well, let me try to think.
Maybe I'll start with the happy version.
Well, there's, you know, that Hitler was very much into, you know, like the Nazi Völkisch occultism. He was totally into this like weird myth. I can't remember exactly where it comes from, but that there was like a race of like Aryan giants that like lived like inside the earth and stuff. So it inevitably goes there.
I think I've heard Nazi tunnels going from Germany to like Argentina and Antarctica using the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, I mean, in Iso Cameron, Giacomo Casanova's book, which is the first real sort of like literary mention of the Hollow Earth, he talks about like he talks about a tribe that like, you know, that he interacts with. In the story, at least, that he wrote, and the depiction of them is incredibly racist and not good. I mean, there's always some. It sucks really, because, you know, it's like, you know, I want to run on a platform of, you know, less racism in our conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sucks too, because like over the past 4 years, especially. You know, I was an avid, Reddit our conspiracy board lurker,
right? And
to watch that become an entirely political.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is with a lot of conspiracy theories is that it's somewhere baked in that part of why it's a conspiracy is because the New World Order needs it to happen so that they can take control. And when you start to dig deeper into the New World Order, you find that a lot of people just think it's the Jews.